All right, Ms. Williams, we're ready to go.
All right. Welcome to our GoTeam meeting for the month of September. We're going to we're going to call this meeting to order. The time is now 4:40. We're going to take roll. So when I call you here, just come off mute or just say that you're here. Hold on. Jovan Miles, Christine Owens, Leticia Wiggins, Erica Luckett, Allison Tolman,
Here.
Denise Williams is here. Jeanette Lovelace.
Here.
All right. Happy to see you all. The next actions that we're going to do is approve the agenda. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Approve our agenda for today. Share. Let me know if you can see my screen. We need someone to approve our agenda for today. Make a motion to approve.
Saying screen, but it's not there yet.
Can you see my screen?
I can see it.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I see it. I'm sorry.
I see it now. Yeah.
Okay. I think Ms. Tolman is out. Ms. Lovelace, do you make a motion to approve today's agenda?
Yes, I will make a motion to approve today's agenda.
Okay.
I second.
Okay. One thing we do have to audit out of our agenda is our nominations. We're going to move that to our next meeting, our nomination of open positions. All right. Next, we're going to move to approve the minutes of our previous meeting. Hold on one second. I'm going to bring up my screen to share that. Okay, these are our minutes from our August Go Team meeting. Can someone make a motion if you approve it? And then someone second.
I approve.
I second the motion.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move into our next topic of discussion for today's meeting. Oh, was it? Okay, we'll move into our discussion item for today's meeting, starting with the school strategic plan and priorities review, SMART goals. So I'm going to turn it over to
Hi, Ms. Williams. This is Ms. Nunn.
Ms. Nutt.
I know it says Mr. Miles, but it's me today. I am going to be delivering the information for this part of our meeting. Unfortunately, Mr. Miles fell ill. It's seasonal change, so I'm going to be leading the meeting from this point with his principal's report. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, can everybody see my screen at this point?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to go over the strategic plan and priorities. Just as a reminder, we are a partner school with Atlanta Public Schools, so their strategic plan is going to look a little bit different than the strategic plan we have for Slater for this year, but we are going to go over what those priorities are. Then we're going to go into a brief data discussion talking about our spring map results and our spring 2025 milestones results as well. And we'll just do a quick review of our stakeholder engagement from our last meeting. And then we will talk about current enrollment for this school year. The strategic plan. So here you have, like I said, for Slater, with us being a partner school, how we do our strategic plan looks a little bit different than how traditional APS schools develop their strategic plan. What you see in front of you is a strategic plan for the 25-26 school year for Slater Elementary. And these are the goals that we have established based on what the goals have been for purpose-built schools Atlanta. So I'm just going to briefly read these to you so that you are aware of what our goals are for this year. Starting with by the end of the 25-26 school year, Slater will increase the percentage of students in grades 3 through 5 scoring at developing and above from 41.9% to 52%, and those scoring at proficient and above from 16.2% to 24%. On the spring 2026 end of grade in ELA, by ensuring that students are able to fully respond to a writing prompt to produce a final draft given a specific time limit. The next goal is by the end of the 25-26 school year, Slater will increase the percentage of students in grades 3 through 5 scoring developing and above from 55.1% to 60%, and those scoring at proficient and above from 17.9% to 22% on the spring 2026 end of grade in math, and by ensuring that students are able to self-select an appropriate concrete, representational, or abstract strategy to solve math word problems. And finally, we have for our K-2 students who do not take the Georgia milestones at the end of the year, our goal for K through 2, 60% of all roster students will meet their individual MAP growth goals in both ELA and math. And for K2, the median growth percentile for your students will be in the 60th percentile or better for ELA and for math. When we're looking at those goals, these are goals that are stretched out based on what we did last year. We want to make sure that once we have gone through the process of looking at our results from previous years, we want to make sure that we are still continuing to challenge ourselves as well as our students to make sure that we are meeting the needs regarding academic growth and academic achievement. So the goals that you see in front of you are based on the results of the 2025 GMAT scores for ELA and math. And we definitely, one of the biggest things we want to make sure that we're doing is we're increasing those numbers of students that are developing and above and proficient and above from where we scored last year. I want to pause for a second just to make sure there are no questions from anybody on the GoTeam. All right. So next I want to move into how we got to those goals with the data discussion. So what you see here in front of you are the spring 2025 MAP results. For those who are unaware, we take MAP 3 times a year. We take it in the fall, we take it in the winter time, which is around December, right before our Christmas break, and then we take it in the springtime around March. These scores are from March of last year based on students in grades kindergarten through 5th grade taking the ELA assessment, which you will see is on the left side of your screen, and the math assessment in MAP, which is on the right side of your screen. MAP has been a strong indicator for us of how students in grades 3 through 5 potentially will score on the GMAT assessment in the spring. Math is a better indicator for that because we can see a direct one-to-one correlation. When it comes to ELA, we have to take into consideration that the MAP assessment itself does not include writing, which is a huge part of the ELA assessment. So these are based on how students did in the spring of 2025 in relation to their MAP scores. You can see fall, winter, and spring. So from here, you can see how students did in these particular cohorts at the 3 different interventions at the time that they took these actual assessments. So what does this data tell us? One, we had a 99% completion rate for this particular assessment, which means we basically got everybody in the school tested. So it's a good cohort of students to get this data. Our third grade students had a 5% achievement jump in developing and above from the fall to the spring in ELA, and in math, they had a 10% jump. So we were seeing improvement from fall, having instruction in between, to winter, then to spring. Our 4th grade students had a decline in developing and above achievement in ELA and a proficient and above. And we saw that similar decline when it came to math for developing and above and proficient and above as well. So the 4th grade students from last year, who are our current 5th grade students, We are just taking a special note about how they performed on MAP and how we're going to move forward for the upcoming year. Last year's fifth grade students, who are now sixth graders at Price, had a decline in both developing and above and proficient and above in math. And there was a slight increase in proficient and above in ELA. And we saw a significant increase in students in our SWD subgroup, scoring both developing and above and proficient and above in both ELA and math. When you look at the GMAS results, which were taken in end of April, early May of 2025, we have this information here. What I was able to pull for you was information from 2024 spring map, spring GMAS, and then 2025 GMAS, so you can see the difference between the two. If you look on the left-hand side, you'll see the indicators. The key indicators, the dark green that's the highest, that's distinguished learner. The lighter green is a proficient learner. The yellow is developing learner, and red is beginning learner. Our goal is to get students in developing and above. So I'll give you a chance to look at this data. And this data is for ELA math and fifth grade science. Fifth grade science is only administered for fifth grade. So as we are looking at these particular results, what we find is that the number of students scoring in the beginning category decreased in third and fifth grade from the spring of 2024 to spring 2025 for ELA, math, and fifth grade science. This is definitely the direction we want to go. We want less students in the beginning, and we want them to move to the other categories. Fourth grade data shows support was needed in both ELA and math, which correlated to what we saw with the spring MAP results for ELA and math. Both of those areas took a decrease from the spring of 2024 to the spring of 2025. Third and fifth grade students showed an increase in student scoring in the proficient and above categories in ELA and math. And this year, when we were talking about ELA and focusing on the fact that writing is not tested on the MAP results, we had a heavy emphasis during the school year on writing instruction, and we used WriteScore to help us identify those areas that needed additional support and to make sure that we are targeting explicit instruction in the right places. And we really believe this helped us out a lot with that increase for our third and fifth grade students in the area of ELA. So glows and grows. Some great things are happening. That explicit writing instruction was a significant growth area for us. We are continuing that this school year. And also we are ensuring that not only our third through fifth grade students are getting that explicit writing instruction, our PK through second grade students as well are getting that information as well. Another glow is that there was an increase in the number of students scoring in developing and proficient categories. So in previous years, we had a number of students who were at beginning. We're able to see with those cohorts, we're moving them from the beginning category to the other categories that shows that they have academic growth and achievement. Some areas of growth. So as I stated before, we can see that our current fifth grade students who were our fourth grade students last year, there was some additional support needed in the areas of ELA and math. And we are beginning to have those discussions about what that targeted support needs to look like based on how they scored on our fall MAP assessments, as well as how they scored on their 2025 spring GMAS. And so we're working with our teachers and we're working with our supports at the cluster level to identify those areas of need. So just want to open the floor up to the question that's at the bottom. Are we on target to successfully accomplish our priorities? And just going back regarding our priorities, I want to make sure that we're going back to look at what our goals are for the year. And everything, all the decisions that we've been making to this point all lead to answer that question. Are these particular moves leading us to be able to accomplish this goal that's in our strategic plan for the 25-26 school year. So before I move on from the data, I just want to open up the floor to see if there were any questions from anybody on the GoTeam.
Ms. Nunn, I have a question about the last year's fifth grade students. So the data that you show is what they did in middle school in sixth grade?
No, that is actually what they did with us in fifth grade, but since they're no longer with us. So when you see the fifth grade data, that's our students from last year's fifth grade. That cohort is no longer in elementary school. They've now moved on. So the fourth grade students, that fourth grade cohort that you see, they are now our current fifth grade students. The third grade students, they are now our current fourth grade students. And of course, second grade, they did not take GMAS. So their baseline data will come in the spring of 2026.
Okay. I just didn't know if you tracked them in middle school to see how they did that way. They don't.
No, we wouldn't be able to see yet because they haven't taken their GMAS yet for sixth grade.
Okay,
So we only have the GMAS from the elementary. We have been able to look at some data regarding MAP. I do not have that information in front of me, but what we are seeing is that they're tracking in the same trajectory of going in the direction where they are making moves and that they are able to keep up the same pace of the continued achievement. So we're getting that growth area, but our next target is our students achieving at the level that they should be based on the grade level they're in right now.
Okay, thank you.
And Ms. Williams, I didn't know if you wanted me to go ahead and continue with the presentation from here.
I'm sorry, Ms. Nunn, can you repeat the question?
I was trying to see if you wanted me to go ahead and continue with the presentation.
Yeah,
Based on the
if there's
agenda.
if there's any other, if there's no other discussion points, we discuss mindset, review stakeholder engagement. Yes, do you want to review the stakeholder engagement at our
Yes.
school? Okay.
I'll go ahead and do that right now.
Okay.
All right, so we just went through the data and we talked about this particular piece really doesn't apply much to us because we don't have the same level of how we get to our goals as a traditional APS school. But what we do have at the schools, we have our guided coalition, which is a part of our PLC process. And in the guided coalition, we have been going over this data with various members of teachers and admin staff and support staff in the school. And in that guided coalition, we are looking at this data to discuss those moves that we need to make in order to reach those academic goals that we have for the year. So last time that we were together, we had a stakeholder engagement exercise where we looked at these three areas. We asked the questions: inform, what's a fun or unexpected way to keep families, students, and the community in the loop? What's the input? What's a meaningful way to get their ideas and feedback? And then invite, how can we bring them into the work and not just be an audience? So I just wanted to put this back on so everybody can see what was discussed at the last GoTeam meeting. And so as you can see, you have the three questions on the left-hand side, and at the top of the screen, you have the different areas. So you have family, you have students, you have staff, and you have community. And this is what the GoTeam put together as some possible suggestions. This was shown to our leadership team. And again, this information goes to our leadership team. We work with the Guided Coalition, and we will be using some of these things to try to implement as we look at the school year and what will work in for our particular community. Some of the things that are already on the calendar. For one, the curriculum night. We have a curriculum night coming up in October. Information should be going out within the next week for that information. We already are implementing Class Dojo. We already have social media going well. Mr. Miles has done an excellent job of getting our families and community to come in and doing volunteer hours, being very attentive to the communication that's been going out to make sure everybody is aware of the things that are happening here at the school, special events when people come and want to volunteer. So it's an ever revolving way of trying to make sure that we are not working in isolation, just making sure that we are including as many parties as possible. The next thing on the agenda was the principal's report. And the only thing we have right now is our current enrollment. So as you can see, this is the current enrollment of all the students here at the school from pre-kindergarten to 5th grade. Right now, we are standing at 491 students that are currently on roll. We still are enrolling students every day. So this is an ever evolving process of as families move into our community, they are continuing to enroll in Slater. We are coming up on our FTE date, which is October 7th. And for those who aren't aware, FTE is just the way that the state calculates dollars based on the number of students that are currently enrolled at the school during a certain time period. So we are actually right in the middle of our 10-day marking period for FTE. And we are right about where we were expected to be as far as our numbers are concerned for our enrollment. At this time, we don't have any strong plans for any leveling yet, but there are conversations going on that as numbers increase in certain grade levels, that we might have to have another conversation about what that might look like. Moving forward, I know we've had conversations about the reshaping of the comprehensive long-range facilities plan. If you haven't seen it, it's been spread out by the Atlanta Public Schools Communications Department, and give a lot of information has been given regarding different options that may be coming forward. There has been an update from the original information that has been sent out. If you would like to get that update into that information, here is how you can get that information. There are also 2 upcoming public meetings around it. One is on October 20th and the other is November 10th. The virtual one will be at noon, and then the in-person meeting will be at 6 p.m. at APS headquarters. If you would like more information about that, I would highly suggest you visit the Atlanta Public Schools website. Also, any GoTeam members, just say to date, there's a G3 summit. It's taking place on Saturday, September 27th. Well, it already took place. So this was last week. So if you didn't go, unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to be a part of this. And if there are any questions for me on behalf of Mr. Miles, I will take them at this time. All right, Ms. Williams, that's the end of my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Nunn. Okay, do we have any announcements?
We are soliciting candy for our
Trunk or treat.
for our trunk or treat and our book character parade that will take place on October 31st. So more information about that is coming. So if there are any families that would like to donate, also, Mr. Miles has sent out information about volunteering. That is a process to do that. I would highly suggest that to make sure you're checking your Class Dojo, because that information goes out through Class Dojo very frequently, as well as the messenger, the robocall messenger. I mentioned before that our next curriculum night will be October 23rd, and more information about that will be coming. That is for kindergarten through 5th grade. and report cards will be coming out in the next week. So if you have students, please make sure that you are looking at that report card. It will be their 9-week report card. And that's all the announcements that we have.
Okay. And we also have Red Ribbon Week coming up. We have quite a few things coming up at Slater. So we can move to adjourn this meeting since there's no public comment in this meeting. So if someone I make a motion, well, can someone make a motion to I make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Can I have someone second that motion, please?
I second the motion.
Okay. All right. If that is all, our next meeting will be on October 28th. All right. Thank you. Have a good night,
you.
everyone.
Good night.